Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be doing my TV collection, which I said I would do a long time ago, and I haven't gotten to it, and I wanted to do it. Unlike the promise that I still haven't fulfilled about finishing Ghostbusters for the Wii, which I still have the intentions of doing it, but the game itself is fun, but I really hate setting up the Wii as a console. I hate the little sensor bar. I hate that everything runs on batteries. It's first world problems for sure. So I'm gonna try to get through this as quickly as possible. I don't know if that is a possibility. I have less TV shows than I do movies, so hopefully that'll help somewhat. One thing I will warn you about, I might choke a little bit through this video. I took my yellow lab Gwen out for a walk, and somebody happened to be weed eating, and apparently I'm now almost allergic to everything because I have like year-round allergies now, and it sucks. And then on top of that, I've been drinking a lot of coffee and beverages that are acidic, like energy drinks or soda, stuff like that. And yeah, they're not the best for reflux. So I'll try not to cough on the video, but worry not if I do cough. Apparently, I'm slowly turning into the kid from My Girl that's like allergic to almost everything. The one that Macaulay Culkin played. Apparently, I'm not allergic to bees. It's story time, kids. Gather around. One time I was cutting the grass, and I happened to run the lawnmower over a yellow jacket's nest, which was really fun. A bunch of yellow jackets actually flew up my pants and started to sting me. At first I thought like a rock hit me, but then it happened over and over again, and then I visually saw them because they build their nests underground. And I ran into the house thinking that I had them all out, and I like went to finally sit down and like chill and kind of like deal with the pain as it was like subsiding. And then all of a sudden I got stung, and it made me like jump up, and I see like a bee fly out of, like a yellow jacket fly out of my shorts. Yellow jackets are often mistaken for bees, but they're actually hornets. So hopefully now this video will get monetized since it had educational content in it. Unfortunately, I didn't plan ahead for this video, so I will be tethered to a cord, because apparently my camera doesn't like not having a full charge before I'm able to film. Like, it won't work unless it's charged all the way full, which is stupid. But that's pretty much all I have to say. If there's something I feel like that's worth saying, I'll say it, but I'll try to get through these as fast as possible, because the last video is really long, and who the fuck wants to listen to me for 2 hours? I mean, I'm lucky if I get 5 minutes. Anyway, let's get started. So we have Eon Flux, the whole series, although I heard they cut some stuff out and add stuff in. It's really weird, but there you go. My voice just cracked. Ash vs. Evil Dead, which is basically they're sequels to the movie Army of Darkness, which is the third Evil Dead movie, which unfortunately didn't get renewed for a fourth season. And the way the third season ended, I would have really liked to see where it went. The complete series of the Astro Boy reboot. Attack on Titan Part 1. I hate it when they do like a Season 1, Part 1, or like any season that's like broken up into pieces. It's fucking annoying. But whatever, such is life. So I'm gonna put these aside. So then we got part 2 of season 1. I need to get the 2 parts of season 3. I probably won't watch these until like I have the whole collection. I might be 83, but whatever. Bakugan, I have no idea what this is about. It was like a stocking stuffer. I think it's like a kid show, but since it was gifted to me, I'm gonna watch it anyway. Batman the Animated Series on Blu-ray. It also contains the movies Mask of the Phantasm, which is quite considered by many, like quite considered. Who words this stuff? Oh, me. It's considered one of the best Batman movies ever made. And then there's the, I believe it's called like Sub-Zero. I haven't even seen that one. But as far as the animated series goes, this is season 1 through 4, which is part of all the original animated series plus the Adventures of Batman and Robin. It's crystal clear. It's kind of weird to see it crystal clear because I watched it when I was a kid. Like, I believe the series started in '92. Yeah, that makes me sound really old because I am really old. But yeah, no matter what I was doing, like, I would haul ass. By the way, interesting trivia, as ironic as this is, like, and this video isn't meant to brag about, look what I have and you don't. It's not like that. But it's kind of weird. Like, streaming has won a lot of people over. Collecting TV shows wasn't really much of a thing. Like, I might have had like 1 or 2, but Netflix started to take off like some of my favorite shows off of their service that I used to go to like feel better about stuff. And yeah, that encouraged me to start collecting physical media of some of my favorite shows. Are just shows that are like nostalgic. The Beetlejuice cartoon, this is purely based on nostalgia. From what I remember, I don't think it's really all that great, but it's nice to have, like, if I want to go back and have like a flashback. I watched it religiously when it aired. Black Lagoon, season 1 and 2, and then you saw I had the movie on the other video. This is probably my second favorite anime of all time. Definitely worth checking out. I actually discovered this show. It came on Adult Swim, and I was trying to go to sleep, and all I heard was beep, 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 beep. That's my best censor sound. They were censoring like all the cursing. This obviously is uncensored, but it woke me up. It made me turn around, and then I started watching the show and thought it was really cool. The Boondocks. This is also, as you can see, uncensored. It's a really cool show. A lot of social commentary, and it's just interesting storytelling all around. I haven't watched the last season of it. Apparently, the original creator isn't involved. You can actually watch these on Netflix, but these are the Netflix Castlevania series season 1 and 2. I didn't like season 3 as much, to be honest with you, but this basically completes the Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse storyline. And even though I can watch it on Netflix whenever, and it'll probably be on Netflix forever since it's a Netflix show, it's Castlevania, so I wanted physical copies. If you're not aware, Castlevania is like this series is probably one of my favorite series of all time, and Castlevania Symphony of the Night is my favorite game of all time. Clerks, uncensored. I love Clerks, but I bought this thinking that I would love this show, but it's too stupid. But I own it anyway, because apparently I can't throw things away. The complete series of The Chappelle Show, which is awesome. I'm sure anybody that's into that already likes it. This is really cool. I've shown this before, but this is my favorite anime of all time. Cowboy Bebop. Death Note, which is really good from what I hear. I haven't actually finished it yet, but from what I've seen so far, it's been really good. This is the Dennis the Menace series I grew up on. Since this was a Deke production, it's really weird. I didn't realize that at the time that they used like the same music and sound effects that they used in my favorite cartoon of all time, the Real Ghostbusters. They use the same music and sound effects. It's really weird. Dragon Ball Z. I got these, and they came out like around like at the same time, like 3 seasons, and they're really affordable, which is and was very uncommon for the time for anime. And I remember seeing like a couple of movies and thought they were cool, but these shows have no pacing in my opinion. I'm sorry, I'm breaking a lot of people's hearts. You notice it's not a complete collection, and yeah, I have 3 seasons unless like there's a really good deal. This might not ever get completed. I don't know. But it's good. It just needs pacing. I believe that was my cat that just ran and jumped on the door for no reason whatsoever. But yeah. So I bought all 3 seasons. I made it through season 1 and gave up on season 2. I haven't even put in season 3. But I don't know. Maybe one day I'll finish the whole series, but not today. Ergo Proxy, I bought this simply on the aesthetics. I started to watch it. It seems cool. Haven't finished it yet. That's an ongoing theme. It makes me sound like an ungrateful asshole. I probably am, but it probably makes me sound more like one than I actually am. More so than I am. Fooly Cooly, season 1. I need to get Fooly Cooly progressive and alternative. This is also one of my favorite animes. I don't know what tier that would land on. I just know Cowboy Bebop and Black Lagoon are like up there. Freaks and Geeks. Ghost in the Shell. This would probably be 3. This is Standalone Complex. And this is the 2nd season. And then you have Ghost of the Shell Arise, which is like a reboot of Standalone Complex. And it's like a reboot slash prequel almost, because it takes like place kind of like earlier on too, like in the Major's career. So if you saw in the last video, the last video covering my collections of Ghost in the Shell new movie, that's actually a sequel to these, and this is the other part. These are actually broken. They're like shows, but they're actually broken up really into little mini movies, like 4 mini movies, and then they have Ghost in the Shell new movie, which is like actual movie sequel. Banner Brothers, which if you like Saving Private Ryan, you'd like that. And The Pacific, which is like the unofficial sequel. And let me rearrange stuff so we can go to the next shelf. Alright, so we have Gravity Falls, which is something I've caught like in the middle of the night on Disney XD. Unfortunately, the series is complete, but this is one of the best TV shows that I think that Disney's ever made, and I have the complete series, which is cool. Jessica Jones, this is actually the European version. Luckily it works on, it's region free. I would love to get the other 2 seasons of Jessica Jones on Netflix, because who knows now that Disney has its own streaming service, whether since it's a Marvel property. But I love Jessica Jones, the show, and I have the 1st season. Jim. Me and my sister would have to share the television set, and Jim would come on before like the shows I wanted to watch, like G.I. Joe or the Real Ghostbusters. They would switch it around. I at the time, I had a roommate, and he would occasionally bring his daughter, and she was reading like Jim comics, which they were like a reboot of the old show. So I was like an excuse to revisit nostalgia, and thinking that like maybe she'd be into like watching the show or whatever, but that wasn't the case. I watched an episode or two, and it's like I had my fix, but now I have the whole series. But it wasn't terribly expensive. A lot of these sets are like really cheap, especially if you get them on DVD. Like Blu-ray is kind of a different story. Key and Peele, the comedy, it's like sketch comedy, but yeah, like it's super fucking nerdy. Kids in the Hall, I absolutely adore. I don't have the 5th season, and that one's really expensive now and really hard to find, which upsets me because I used to see it all the time. I was just always wanting to hold off on it. They have like a whole box set of the whole series, but it's just like I spent all the money like collecting these. It's like upsetting to like just give up and then get the complete series. But I absolutely adore this. It's like a Canadian sketch comedy show. It's more surreal than your average sketch comedy show, and I absolutely love it. I used to come on like after I got home from school. These are like each season. I don't know if you can tell, I really planned this video out. As I'm tethered by a cord as my camera charges. Kill la Kill. There's definitely some awkward fan service here, but all in all, I absolutely adore this anime. It's really weird and manic, and I like it quite a bit. They used to release these individually. This actually comes with a cool art book. Maybe that'll give you an idea of the manic style. They have these on Netflix, but they don't have the last episode, and for a long time on Netflix they didn't have the English dub, which I actually like. I've watched both the Japanese and English dub, but Kill la Kill is probably, if I'd have to number it, apparently I can't number anything else beside Ghost in the Shell, Black Lagoon, and Cowboy Bebop, but I would say this is probably my 4th favorite anime. And why am I just counting animes as my favorite shows? Lupin the Third. Gosh, is this my 5th favorite anime? So this is like the first series. It never aired here. These are all in Japanese. And then the following seasons, these came out like in the 70s and 80s. I need to get number 4 to complete everything, so I only need one more, but these are really expensive for DVDs. But it's, again, it's anime, and the way they were releasing them before, they didn't completely release them. So these ones right here, they're sorry if my grammar's shit, but you know, if you're used to watching this channel, you're used to hearing my grammar be shit. But these are a mixture of Japanese and English dubbed episodes. You can listen to them all in Japanese, but some of them actually have an option of English dub because a lot of them aired on Cartoon Network until you get towards the end, and then it's back to the Japanese versions. But like the people that worked at Studio Ghibli, or Ghibli, however you want to say it, actually worked on the last few episodes of this show. And then if you watch the Castle Cagliostro, that's like, it's not officially like Studio, we're just gonna call it Ghibli. Studio Ghibli. You can correct me in the comments section. I've heard so many people call it so many different things. I'm like confused at this point of like how to say it correctly. But yeah, like, even though it's not technically part of Studio Ghibli, it is like the movie, not the show. But a lot of people that worked on that worked on the last episode, which is probably 4. I haven't made it to 3 yet, but because it's quite a few episodes. Like, I have up to episode 117 to give you an idea. I'm really bad at watching shows because it's a lot. And this is somewhat of a contemporary sequel, but what's really cool is that they actually used the voices from the Cartoon Network airing, which is pretty impressive considering that was like 16 years ago when that originally aired. And the animation's really good. It actually mimics the manga. And then we have The Office, which is self-explanatory. These are a bit dusty. I originally gave the show a chance because they had like a sale for season 1 and 2. They like had it like wrapped together like a 2-for-1. And I was like, the few episodes I saw, like, I really liked. And then I saw the first 2 seasons and absolutely fell in love with it. And then watched season 3 when it finally came out on DVD. And then when season 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 came out, I actually watched them as they aired. This was during a time I used to go out all the time. If you can imagine me going out and being social. But yeah, we used to do that. I think this came out on Thursday night, and Thursday was like boneless wing night or something. And we would go out, but I would always like leave like at 8 o'clock so I could make it to watch The Office at 9 because I'm a nerd. But that was like one of the things I would look forward to. Maybe not so much the later seasons, but definitely with maybe, I don't know, like probably the season 4, I think the show was at its best. Season 2 is my favorite. But these have dust on them because I can just watch them on Netflix for right now until they take it off, I'm sure, at some point. Which I think a lot of people watching it Netflix just for The Office. One Punch Man. What are we up to now? 6th favorite anime? I don't know. I really love One Punch Man. There's a 2nd season. I've not seen it, but I'm sure it's incredible. Outlaw Star. It looks cool. I haven't really watched it. Alright, so these are all the Sailor Moons. There's a missing one right here just because I have like a little viewing stack of like things I'm currently watching. And I'm slowly working on season 2 on and off. The Blu-rays the DVDs kind of suck because they didn't come with the supplemental material, which I think is lame. But like the Blu-rays came with a book. But like with Attack on Titan, they split everything up into like 2 parts. But Sailor Moon, it's not the best anime I've ever seen by any means. Like, I collect this based on nostalgia, and I start it, and I just finished the whole collection. And season 5 is pretty unique, which I'm trying to look through the viewfinder. I think it's this one, Sailor Moon Superstars. This one never aired here because apparently there's like guys that turn into girls or girls that turn into guys or something, and it was super controversial, I guess, at the time, and they didn't air it. These are all uncensored, so these are not the ones that I grew up with. But when I used to wake up in the morning to go to school, I sounded like I was about to sing the Saved by the Bell song, which that's a TV series I wouldn't mind having. That's like a super nostalgic one, even though I know it's like a terrible show. But yeah, like once I start collecting them, I just like it, even though I think they're from the 90s. Like, I know here it probably aired around 94, 95 on regular television. Like, I didn't have cable at the time. Like, I know it didn't really gain popularity until like it was on Cartoon Network around the time I was more like in middle school. possibly going into high school. I don't know. But when it used to be nostalgic to me, I was like in the 4th grade or whatever, and it used to come on when I woke up in the morning, and it was like part of the getting up daily ritual, and it was one of the first animes I ever saw. So anime TV shows. The first anime I think I've ever saw was Akira, but yeah. So nostalgic. And then there's Sailor Moon Crystal, which are these ones. Again, awesome grammar. And these are, I mean, how more effeminate can you get with that cover? It looks like somebody's grandmother crocheted that. But, Sailor Moon Crystal follows the manga, where the TV series is more spread out. And, it has more story in it, where, Crystal's more truncated and closer to the manga, where the TV show loosely follows the manga, but there's way more episodes. And then I showed you guys the movies and the movie video part, but they stopped at season 3 with Crystal, and I think since the story is pretty truncated, they're gonna release the remaining parts of the story in movie form. This used to be one of my favorite go-to shows on Netflix. This always makes me fucking laugh. It's so ridiculous. And it's not just Sarah Silverman's. Like, all the characters are, like, freaking ridiculous. But, this was really hard to find. Like, and hard to find under $300. Like, I was, like, on Amazon, like, non-stop. And then one day I lucked out, and I was able to get it for $30. Like, one of the cases is slightly smashed, but so worth it. Seinfeld. I only have up to season 6. I need 9 seasons. And I could easily get the book again, but I'll put all this money towards getting these from charity shops, from gifts, just buying it regular. And I just want the set to be congruent, so if I get any other additional seasons, they'll have to be part of the box set. Seinfeld used to be like a staple in my house. If you want to see what they look like. I know I've been really lazy with this row and not showing the fronts of everything. It used to be a staple. My parents used to watch it all the time, but I never really watched it. And then they syndicated it. Like, it would come on after The Simpsons, which is the next thing coming up. And I started to watch the syndicated episodes, and then I started to watch it as it actually aired on TV, and actually saw the last episodes and everything when it aired. And Seinfeld's one of those shows that came on so much. Like, it's one of the few shows I never set out to see every single episode of, but I have seen every episode of that I'm aware of. Like, I've yet to see an episode I haven't seen before at any point. Like, I always have seen the episode when it comes on. Like, I'm repeating myself. I sound like an echo chamber here. But, yeah, it's one of the few TV shows I've seen every episode of unintentionally. It's never been a goal. It just kind of happened. This is the 3rd season of The Simpsons. One of the only things I watch on Disney Plus are old episodes of The Simpsons. I don't like the newer episodes, but when my sister let me use her Disney Plus account and use one of the empty profiles, since I think you can have up to 4, like, that was like the main thing I watched and still watch. Like, if I put on Disney Plus, I'm watching old episodes of The Simpsons, not Disney movies for the most part. This is Space. This was another Netflix go-to. Before Shaun of the Dead, like, Edgar Wright had this TV show, and it had like Nick Frost and Simon Pegg, and it's about like 2 roommates that are actually just friends, but they have to pretend to be couples in order to rent this flat out. And it's just funny, and ironically, even though it's a British show, it's filled with American pop culture references. Space Dandy, I guess 7th favorite anime. This is just ridiculous. It's like a sci-fi adventure, but it's like comedic and stupid, and sometimes the episodes like end like in really weird, obscure ways, and then the next episode will pretend like none of that happened. But it's so manic and crazy. I absolutely love it. Alright, next row. And we're back. Alright, so this is the 5th season of South Park. I believe this season aired around 2001. I haven't seen a new episode of South Park in so long, but every time I watch it, I absolutely love the show. Like, apparently you can still watch them for free on southpark.com, and now they have HBO Max where apparently South Park airs. I need to get back into the show. I need to finish the last game that came out. I finished the first one. The first game was like one of the most hilarious games I've ever played in my entire life. Not to be extreme or anything in my explanations. This is Speed Racer. This is just this is one of the first animes that originally aired in the 60s. Apparently there's a Japanese version of this that you can get on American Blu-ray too, and apparently like the car wrecks and stuff are a little bit more viscerally violent. I don't know. It's just kind of like nostalgic to own this, but I'm not like a Speed Racer fan with its 3 frames of animation and its wonderful voice acting, but there's something inherently charming about it that I can't quite explain. Speed Racer I actually discovered because there was a video game ad for that horrible Super Nintendo Speed Racer game, and that's what made me look into Speed Racer. And I remember looking at a magazine and seeing the ad and wanting the game, because there was originally supposed to be a Sega Genesis game that was just straight up racing, where the Super Nintendo one was a platform racing hybrid. And the one on Super Nintendo, it was based on the one that was released on DOS, which I used to play at a friend's house. And it's probably crappy by today's standards, but considering I was playing like NES and Genesis game, it was impressive to me. And I don't know how the Genesis would have done it, because it looked like it used some sort of scaling. But anyway, that game was canceled. But I was looking at the ad, and like at the time, like, one of my parents' friends saw that I was looking at a video game magazine, and they happened to see Speed Racer, and he's like, "Oh, I used to watch that show when I grew up. I didn't even know it was based on a TV show." And then my curiosity like got the best of me, and I happened to go to the video store and see a Speed Racer VHS, and they had a few episodes on it. And then I didn't really see many episodes until then, and then I happened to stumble across that at Best Buy. That's the end of that boring ass story. Star Wars Rebels, these are on DVD because they're quite frankly $20 cheaper and easier to find on the TV. A TV show I wasn't sure that I was going to like. I didn't know if it was like Star Wars Junior basically. But it ended up being a really good show, and now I wish I kind of had the Blu-rays, but that's alright. These actually look really good, and not to rely on streaming services, but I'm relying on streaming services if I want to watch it in HD. They're all on Disney Plus. But these are surprisingly good. These take place right before Star Wars A New Hope, or Episode 4, if you will. Or Star Wars, the first one, as some of you may call it. Stella, I don't even know how to explain the show. It's like a half an hour long, so I wouldn't call it like a skit show, unless you call it a half an hour long skit. But it's really surreal and stupid, and I absolutely adore it. And I'm really sad that they only got 1 season out of it. Stranger Things, these are Netflix shows that I'm sure will be on Netflix forever. I can't see them taking off Stranger Things. They don't sell well, So I don't know if they'll ever release a physical version of the third season, but if they do, I would love to own it. And I love these mock like VHS tapes. They're hilarious. These are the Ultra H. Is it Ultra HD? Yeah, UHD. 4K versions, if you will. Super Mario Brothers Super Show. Not the best show in the world, but I have memories watching this as I was getting ready to go to school as well, when I was even younger, before Sailor Moon. Tales from the Dark Side. I enjoy anthology series. This is much like Tales from the Crypt. Our Creep Show, just a bunch of stories. Like, I love the, I believe they are called the EC comics. And this is very much in the vein of those. Tom Savini actually worked on a lot of this stuff. This isn't as good, in my opinion, as Tales of the Crypt, our Creep Show. Which, have any of you seen that new Creep Show? Like, the few episodes I saw are really awesome. I know they just released a Blu-ray of it. I would love to have that. Unfortunately, funds are kind of tight at the moment, but if I did have the money, you better believe I would own it. Yeah, like, this is, even though most of the episodes don't have any special effects, some do, and they're really cool. Like, I don't know, like, it has like a creepiness factor, but a fun creepiness factor. I don't know how to explain it. It's a good show if you don't mind older shows. Ninja Turtles, nostalgic, but doesn't hold up as well as other kids shows. I say it holds up better than Beetlejuice, but not better than Sailor Moon or especially The Real Ghostbusters. Tim and Eric, awesome show, great job. One of my favorite shows of all time. It is so stupid. It's like public access television, and David Lynch and methamphetamines had a baby. As you can see by the insane art. This is one of my favorite shows of all time. If you ever want to know what it's like to feel like you're inebriated without actually taking anything, just watch this series, and I guarantee you will feel the effects of drugs without actually being on drugs. It is amazing. True Blood. I just really like this show. I know it's like a soap opera, but with vampires, and it's cheesy, and some of the scenes some might consider a little risque, but I don't know. This is one of my favorite shows, and I made sure every time, just like The Office, every time season came out, I would get it. But I absolutely love True Blood. I started collecting on DVD, but I managed to switch to Blu-ray and then replace the DVDs that I had with Blu-rays. I think I got the ones that I switched secondhand from, if they have a store near you. It's owned by Books A Million, 2nd and Charles. I don't know how they are now, because they seem to get slowly more expensive as time goes on. But I've just gotten incredible deals, like on used videos, and they've been in really good condition. But the only ones I needed to get the replace were seasons 1 and 2. Season 1 was really hard to find on Blu-ray after a while for some reason. It usually came with like season 2, but at that point I already had season 2 on Blu-ray. I know I'm an excellent storyteller. Alright. So, yeah, that's the last season of True Blood. I haven't watched all of these yet, and I heard it's not finished, but from what I saw, it seemed pretty good. Terminator, Sarah Connor Chronicles. It's both seasons. They canceled it after the 2nd season. One of my other favorite shows, Twin Peaks. So it says the entire mystery, but this was before Twin Peaks: The Return. but this has every episode of Twin Peaks like remastered. Like if you watch it on Netflix, if it's still on Netflix, like it looks way better. Like they went back because I think they put the Netflix show, they got the master from video where this masters from film, and it just looks better. There's like a grain to it that looks amazing. Then it comes with the Fire Walk With Me movie, as well as like 90 minutes of extra footage of Fire Walk With Me, which is almost like an alternative version of the movie, and it's fucking amazing. And if you love Twin Peaks, this set's a must-have. But I believe they released a newer set that has like all the extra features plus more. But if you're a Twin Peaks fan, I would definitely look into this. I apologize for the heavy breathing. I am not going through labor. I just have allergies. And I don't have the thing that nobody wants to mention by name. And then this is Twin Peaks: The Return that came out a couple of years. I absolutely adore this. Agent Cooper isn't in this as much as I would like him to be. What's cool is you kind of see all three characters of Cooper in the show, but Special Agent Dale Cooper, he's not in The Return as much. But this is David Lynch worked on all of this instead of like just being a writer or overseer, like on the, especially during the second season of Twin Peaks, which isn't as good in my opinion as the first season. And my favorite part of this show is when they go to the show always ends like in a club, except for I believe like 1 or 2 episodes. Like the show always ends in a club, and it always has like this ethereal like music that plays that I guess David Lynch himself handpicked because he's really into music. He's a musician himself. But it's just amazing. Like the show is amazing. I would watch it like before I would have to work at a bakery, and the sun would be coming up, and when it showed like the club scenes, the sun would be coming up at the same time when it showed the club scenes. So like in real life it almost looked like the lights were coming up as it was playing, like this ethereal, like really relaxing, like I don't know what you would call it, like it was like a mixture of like techno-ish goth music. I don't know how to explain it, but usually that's the kind of, I mean there's all different kinds of music, but that's kind of most of the type of music that like I guess David Lynch picked for the show. But it's amazing. 18 episodes, each one's an hour long, ends surreal like you would expect it to, just like the second season did. And I guess people were expecting closure, but you know, it's just like Evil Dead, like in like a surreal thing, you don't get all your answers. Walking Dead, the first 2 seasons, I quit watching the show after they killed off Beth, because I thought she was the best developed character, and I'm just like, if you're just going to kill off everybody you're actually starting to develop, I don't really want to invest in the show anymore. So I quit watching after like season 5, and after season 2, which I think is like, I think the first season's the strongest, and then it's just like rinse and repeat. But like when season 2 started, it's still, the cycle wasn't complete yet, so I really liked it. This is also one of my favorite shows. This show has like a really dark moment. This is like a dark comedy. The openings of this show are really cool too. They have like a lot of indie bands. They have some of my favorite like artists like do the openings, like the Shins, the Decemberists, the Mountain Goats, Regina Spektor. I can't remember if they had Amanda Palmer or not do one of the openings. But the openings always had, well, the earlier opening, later on, they just like showed that it was like weeds. But yeah, it's like basically like a widow trying to raise kids by selling weed and the misadventures that causes. But the show gets really dark, and then it gets funny again, and I don't know. It's an amazing show. I watched every single episode of this show in probably less than a week. I don't know how I did it. I don't think I could do it today. Portlandia, the seasons are random because this show is kind of hard to find. But this is like a sketch show that revolves around Portland. The sketches are hit or miss, but I still really like it. If you notice a trend, I kind of like surreal humor. So there's 7 seasons. I own season 1, 3, 4, and 5. But if you notice, like, even like with the packaging, they started putting it in cardboard, like people weren't buying it. You can still watch it on Netflix. The show's definitely not for everybody. This is my all-time favorite Cartoon Network, I guess, cartoon. Because my all-time, although Toonami's different, it would be Tim and Eric, but that wasn't a cartoon. But we only got like 3 seasons. There's like 9 seasons. 7 or 9, I don't remember correctly, but anyway, like Australia got all the seasons plus a movie and a box set. I think they might have done that on purpose because of HBO Max has all the episodes of regular show. But this is my like favorite cartoon because they have like somebody my age made this show, so all the references are references that like I would get that maybe kids would enjoy just because like it's a cartoon and it's funny and manic or whatever. But I just love the show. It always starts out simple and just overly complex, and there's just so many references. Like they even play like on like a Sega Master System. You'll never see that on another cartoon. This is the entire series of the X-Files. There was a partition and I took it out and I put season 10 and 11, which were not available, or actually they didn't exist at the time that this set came out. So this is a complete set. This is what Batman originally came in. It has like some poorly painted Funko Pops. I would have much rather have gotten just the sorry, I can't think. The case that I showed before. But yeah, they wanted you to buy those pops. Alright, so now we're at the bottom. So this was donated by Escape from Gaming, Dean, Vinny Corleone 62. He sent me the original Star Trek series because I covered Star Trek the game and I talked a little bit about the series. He upgraded to Blu-ray, so he sent me the DVDs, and then I felt guilty, and then I found a game at the retro store near me that I knew that he wanted or whatever. I always feel guilty when people send stuff and always have to like make everything even. This is the complete Tales of the Crypt series. The reason why it's missing season 5 is because that's the season I'm currently watching. This series has aged extraordinarily well, and I wasn't expecting that at all. Like I actually have a few of the Tales of the Crypt comic. Ironically, most of the stories from this show actually comes from the Volta Horror comics, which is related to Tales from the Crypt. Like it's like a EC comic book, but it's just kind of funny that they called it Tales from the Crypt when most of the stories are not from Tales of the Crypt comic books, but they are based all on comic book stories, and I think that's one of the reasons why it holds up well. I've shown this in the past, but this is the real Ghostbusters, the complete series, which hasn't really been released since then. They'll make it sound like it's complete, like in these like box sets, but it isn't. This is the only time they've released the complete series. Like they came out with like a numbered series, but it wasn't every single episode. So this is the complete series, which is really cool. I'm glad I found out about this when I did, because I was super nerdy and follow Ghostbusters sites. I showed this on, I think, a comfort show video. It was in an older video, but this is like one of the cases are missing. It might be for season, I guess season 1. I started to rewatch them like on Saturday morning to create like the illusion that I was like a little kid again, because apparently I suffer from Peter Pan syndrome. But that's my favorite cartoon of all time. If this ever disappeared, you would see a grown man cry. This is a haunting. This is a guilty pleasure. I don't know how this ended up at Goodwill, but it was at Goodwill, and I was really missing the show. Like, I was torrenting it. Don't tell anybody, but that's how much I missed it. And then this was just randomly at Goodwill. This is season 1 through 4. This was the whole series, and then for whatever reason, years later, they decided to reboot it. And then there's like a bunch of concert and music videos. It's Queen, No Doubt, Green Day, and Kiss. If you want to know my personal favorite ones, I don't really like the concert videos as much. I really like music videos. Even though there's 2 volumes of Queen's music videos, it doesn't even have all their music videos. This one is probably my favorite. I don't know. I have an extraordinarily soft spot for No Doubt, and I love their music videos. It's a shame that there's probably never going to be another album, but to be fair, I didn't even watch I didn't even purchase like their last album, like, because Rocksteady was kind of disappointing. Like, a lot of people shit on Return of Saturn, but I thought that album was really, really good after multiple listenings too. I actually have my Orange County DVD that has them playing live in Anaheim. But that's part of like a little box set that's not near here. This is Kiss, because the time I was playing a Dreamcast game and I really liked it, so my mom's like, "Oh, Kiss, he must like Kiss." I'm indifferent. They have some catchy songs. This is Green Day's music videos from when they released, which was basically their greatest hits, but it doesn't even have like Macy's Day Parade, which was on the album of the same name, which I think is one of their better music videos. And then it doesn't have any of the American Idiot or 21st Century Breakdown. And then they have the Uno Dos Tres album, which I haven't even listened to. I didn't care for it much. I did like American Idiot's like my favorite album, of one of my favorite albums at least of all time, if not the. I have it both on CD and vinyl, but yeah, and then I'd liked 21st Century Breakdown, but as far as I know, they never released the music video version of that. And it also kind of sucks that they bleep out the curse words still, even though it's like the DVD. But anyway, that is my TV collection. Hopefully my commentary was fairly interesting and I didn't sound like a complete tool, which I tend to in most of my videos because I'm really uptight when I do these things, because I feel like I'm reading a report in front of like hundreds of people. Even though I look at my view count, it's like 1.5, so that means like an actual person and like an unborn child watch my video. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you on the next video. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'm sorry if I was heavy breathing or choking or whatever. Allergies are a bitch. Whatever. Hope you enjoy. Take care. Bye.
If you want to, Like, comment, and subscribe! Thanks for watching!